If you want to run a thriving community, you need to become a great copywriter, but not just any kind of copywriter. You need to get good at conversion copywriting. Now, I have a long and full interview with Anna Powers, who is a conversion copywriting expert, but I wanted to pull this highlight for you because in it, she is sharing her 3 keys to becoming a really great conversion copywriter. So I talk a little bit about copywriting in the course. So I have my community training course. There's one little lesson in there in the communication section that talks about like writing clear, concise, compelling copy and how important that is. But I obviously don't go super deep on that because it's not a copywriting course, it's a community training course. So can you talk a little bit about what is the difference practically when it comes to conversion copywriting? Like, how do I get good at this or at least better at it?
Yeah. Okay. So you want to first connect with your people. And if you've already got them enrolled and they're already in the community, chances are you've already done a really good job of that. But one way that we can connect with people is developing a desired identity, right? So we talk a lot about speaking to the client from the identity that they're in when they come to you, and also developing a shared vision, a shared version within the community of that desired identity. So you're aligning the actions that you want them to take because they're going to lead to the result with that desired identity that they have. So that's the first thing, is connection. Then what you want to do is you want to make a contrast between where they are and where they want to be. So that's where it's really helpful to have those 2 identities. For example, when someone comes into our copywriting certification, oftentimes they may identify as a struggling freelancer, someone who's been trying to make it work, a struggling online business owner, but they haven't really found their stride. And we have created that identity of a go-to expert copywriter, someone who is known as an incredible results getter for clients, someone who is sought after, who has a waiting list, who can charge double for a rush project. That's where they want to be. So when we're teaching, we're always talking about like this, setting your rates this way, putting your package together this way. This is how you're going to go from that struggling freelancer to that go-to expert copywriter. So we're forming the contrast. After we've connected with them, we're forming the contrast between where they are now, which is based on the results, the actions they've been taking. That's what's gotten them their results. And then where they want to be and what kind of actions they're going to have to take to get those results, right? And actually, really, if you want to take it at a really high level, being like showing up as the go-to expert copywriter, even before they've seen those results in their bank account, like putting together their agreements in that way, delivering their work product in that way, showing up online in that way, showing up on sales calls in that way versus showing up from their current version of struggling freelancer. So we have to form and highlight the contrast and really, again, enroll them into why, if you keep doing the same things you've been doing and showing up the same way you've been showing up, this is where you'll stay. We have to get you to this next level.
And I can see how even in the most simple thing, like an email encouraging people to watch a replay, for example, if you're always going back to that shared identity, that connection piece, and then that contrast of this is, if you're struggling with this or you identify as this, the replay that you're going to watch, this training on XYZ, is going to help you get closer to this future identity, this after, and this is the step it's going to help you accomplish.
Yeah. And even a tangible, practical example, because I feel like those are helpful sometimes. I was talking with one of my mentors about someone who, our trainings in our high level copywriting group, which is for people who are looking to go to like 20K a month as copywriters. They're 90 minutes. And we had someone say, I don't have time. These trainings are so valuable, but I don't have time to sit through these trainings. And I was talking with my own mentor about that. And he said something so great. He's like, listen, the only reason they shouldn't have time to watch those 90-minute trainings is because they're so busy serving all those clients that they've booked. So if they don't have the level of revenue that they want, they have time to watch those trainings. They're just choosing not to prioritize that. And even something as simple as that, again, is drawing them back into that identity to be able to have that conversation with that person. Like, you're saying you don't have time, but the only reason you shouldn't have time is that you're so busy serving all these clients. You joined this program to learn how to show up at this level to get that caliber of client. But now you're saying that you don't have time, but a go-to expert copywriter makes the time to be able to learn the things that you need to learn to sustain that level. So you get to choose. Do you want to stay a struggling freelancer or do you want to be a go-to expert? This is the way, but I can't force you on the path.
And I can just hear the light bulbs going off and all the membership site owners listening to this, because having worked with so many clients, I know that one of the main reasons people cancel is because they say, I don't have time for this. And that language around, you said, this is the identity you want, this is what you want to create. It's the only reason I don't have time should be what you're saying is because you've achieved this. And now your sales calls are booked, or you're working with clients, or you're out living your dream life, traveling the world, or whatever it is that end result is.
Yeah.
That is so good. Okay, so we have connection, we have contrast.
And then we call to action. So we make that contrast between where they are, where they want to be. And this is where sometimes people who talk about ethical marketing a lot, and I talk about ethical marketing, integrity is a core value of our company. But sometimes people really balk at the whole idea of twisting the knife, contrasting the pain with the end goal that they really desire. But really, we're not twisting the knife. I never use that terminology, but we are highlighting the pain because we as human beings, we tend to numb out. You can look at your life in so many ways, not you specifically, but like all of us. Like we can look at our lives and say, oh, when I'm feeling stressed, maybe I turn on Netflix, or maybe like I drink wine, or maybe some people have like coping mechanisms that might be considered a little healthier. They go run 5 miles, but we all have these little ways that we try to convince ourselves things aren't really as bad as they are. And so that's what we have to do is just like highlight for that client who came, I'm so busy, I don't have time. Okay, but like I have to push into that and say, but you don't have the results you want either. And this is what's required for you to get those results. So I actually have to not be scared of her saying she's not getting the results because she doesn't have time to watch the trainings, and be like, that's the reason you're not getting the results, is that you're not prioritizing the time it will take you. But once we've done that contrast, then we call them to action. And then we're like, and here's your next step. Your next step is to click into the portal and watch this, and then do this assignment. Your next step is to show up live on this training. Your next step is to book the ticket and come to the event and meet us in person and build that community. And so that's where we're really going: connection, contrast, and then we can call to action. And that ultimately does lead to the conversions.